So Petron's offering preferred shares. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it risky? Should you invest in it? Did I actually invest? Check this video out. Hey guys, so this video is all about the Petron Preferred Shares offering. Over the past few days, I got a lot of messages from you asking me if you should get this. Is this something that you should subscribe to? What is actually a preferred share? Unbeknownst to many, I've been investing in preferred shares for quite some time already. When I was younger, I would not invest in preferred shares because it was boring. It wasn't really moving as much. When I was younger, I wanted capital appreciation stocks that had a lot of volatility or stocks that had a lot of growth. But what I had to realize was this. Preferred shares has its place. Preferred shares has its notion. No, if you want cash flow, if you want repetitive gains, regardless if the market is bullish or bearish, and you want an expected return, preferred shares are the way to go. So what exactly are preferred shares? Preferred shares is just like a normal stock. It gives you ownership of the company. But the main difference between a preferred share and a common share is basically this. A preferred share will give you a fixed dividend rate. A preferred share will give you a fixed yield already, meaning for Petron, it divided it into two. It has something that has for 5.5 years and another one for 7 years. You have to remember, the longer the tenure, the larger the rate. The longer the tenure, also because you are exposed to longer years of it being unknown, you should be compensated with a higher rate of return. So what does that mean? As long as Petron is making money, as long as Petron is there, you can expect that for the next 5.5 years, for the next 7 years, you will be given a fixed dividend rate. Does the stock price move up or down? Yes, it does. Why does it move up or down? It's dependent on the interest rates. So if depending on the prevailing interest rates in the future, the prices will move. But here's the thing. If you do not plan to sell the stock at any given point up until that particular period, guess what? You won't be subjected to any volatility, meaning what you put in after that period of time, after they use the money already and they return it back to you, you get the same amount from the capital that you invested, plus the dividends that you get every year that they promised. So the Series 3A preferred shares, which is 5.5 years, will give you 6.87% yield. While the longer one, as what I told you, gives you longer uncertainty, is for 7 years, the Series 3B will give you a 7.13% return on your investment per year. So the question there is, among the two, what did I get? Or did I even get at all? Here's the thing. As much as I can, and as often as there are preferred share offerings, I would get it because I treat it as a way for me to, you have to remember this, every time I earn from the market, I just put it back in the stock market. I just put it back to buy more shares. But there comes a point in time also that as it starts to grow, you have to pocket some of your earnings. But how do I pocket my earnings? The earnings that I get from the capital gains, the earnings that I get from trading and investing, I get some of them and use that to buy me preferred shares, because the preferred shares will give me passive income for life. The end game, the goal is that you need to have passive income for life, and the way to do that and the way to get that is to have preferred shares, because preferred shares will give you an expected rate of return regardless. So I always get the ones with higher interest rates. I always get the ones with a higher dividend yield for the fact that I want a greater rate of return, because at the end of the day, even if there's volatility, I have already an expected rate of return. And you have to understand this. I still have money in banks. I still have money in time deposits. I still have money in stocks and bonds. So this is something that's on top. This of course, if you want to grow your money, you have to trade. You want to grow your money, you have to invest in growth stocks. But if you want to preserve it, just buy preferred shares. And here's the thing. If you're too scared of investing and you have time deposits, this is a proxy for it as well. If you're putting your money in time deposits for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you're not touching it anymore, instead of putting it in time deposits and you're getting 2, 3, 4%, why not just buy preferred shares and then wait for it until it matures, or until the tenure is done, and then you get your money back again and you get a higher rate of return back. And that's what I would suggest to most people. Most people just leave it at the bank where they don't earn a lot, or some people, this is my style. I use capital appreciation to make my portfolio grow, but I use cash flow from preferred shares to make me live. I use the cash flow from preferred shares that I use for my day-to-day expenses. And I don't use my gains from capital appreciation, I don't take it out. What makes the stock market passive for me is basically the cash flow that I get from dividends. So do I like preferred shares? Yes, I do. Is it something that makes your portfolio grow? It doesn't, but it gives me stability. It gives me expected rates of return. It gives me cash that I can use because I have to spend, I have to buy stuff still. And that's what the cash flow from the preferred shares are for. Now, from all of this, Petron will be able to raise around 15 billion up to as high as around 20 billion pesos in the entire process. The reason why they are issuing preferred shares basically is this. They just need extra funding. You have to remember the stock market, from the videos that I've created, is all about funding. They enter the stock market to have funds, to have fresh funds that they can use for expansion, debt repayment, or whatever reason that they are using the money for. So this is just an infusion of fresh capital for them. You have to remember Petron has a lot of debt. That's why I think this is a new way for them to raise money without getting into the debt market. Naman, you have to understand, preferred shares, though it gives a fixed dividend rate, dividend yield to investors, it's not classified as debt. It's ownership with a return coming from the earnings. So here's what's nice about that. If the earnings of Petron is not as good and it's not as well, there might be no dividends for common shares, but preferred shares should have a rate of return. Preferred shares should have dividends on a regular basis. So that's why I love it. And here's the thing, I would not buy Petron common shares because I know it's not growing, but my intention for Petron preferred shares is not really for the growth. My intention for Petron is really because I want to get the passive returns that the dividends will give me. So that's it. If you are a person who wants stability, you are a person who wants cash flow, you are a person who wants a fixed rate of return over a regular basis, preferred shares is for you. But if you want growth, if you want volatility, you want the ability to trade, preferred shares might not be for you. So these are for people who just want cash flow and who want to be more passive, or those who want to park cash already that they pocketed returns from the market. So are you guys getting? Comment below if you are getting Petron preferred shares. Comment below if you are not and your reasons why you are not getting. The best answer, I'll try to think of a reward, a prize for those who can come up with the best answer for this. And I just like to, I don't know, I just want to hear your thoughts as well, because you have to understand the offer period for this will expire over the next few days, or if it's already over allotted, you won't be able to get already a slot or a position for this new offering. But can you still get it after the offering? Yes, you can, but you have to get it from the open market. The price of it later on will be dependent already on supply and demand and the buyers and sellers who already own the stock. So there. I guess that's it for now. We're just a few days already away from Stock Smarts Manila. I hope to see you there. And at the start of the video, you saw some of our events. We'll be doing Stock Smarts in Hong Kong, CDO, Qatar, and UAE. I hope you guys can join us. And we're planning to do Australia also this year, along with Cebu and Singapore. Plus, exciting news, we're having Icon in Iloilo and Davao for this year. Again, with the heart, the goal, the narrative to teach you that you can trade the markets, that you can win, that the stock market is not as hard as what most people think it is, that you can use whatever skills that you have in the market to reach your goals of financial freedom. So I guess that's it for now. Marvin Germo. I'm done with my trades. I did everything in the morning just for a few minutes, and I sectioned everything, segmented everything, basing it on technical analysis. So this video might not be about technical analysis, it might not be about trading, but I hope it helps people that want to get into this Petron Preferred Shares offering. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo from Bonifacio Global City. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.